Today, we travel to the island of Jeju, a place of winds, storms, and cyclones, where quiet moments hold deep stories and the horizon always seems to whisper something new. We are joined by someone who has made storytelling her second skin, someone who has walked the streets of Seoul, listened to the waves of Jeju, and written with honesty, wonder, and soul. Hallie Bradley, the voice behind the Soul of Seoul, has spent over a decade capturing life in Korea through her eyes, her words, and her heart. From navigating identity and motherhood abroad to finding joy in the rituals of daily life, she invites us to see beauty in both the big shifts and the quiet details. This episode is a conversation about voice, place, reinvention, and how sometimes the most magical journeys are the ones we live slowly. Welcome to Yuzu y Yuja. Hola, Hallie.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Very good. The sun is setting here in Jeju. It's
Okay,
nice to look out the window and see that.
that's great. So you have the sunset and probably you have great weather.
It's warming up now, so it's getting really nice outside. Of course, Korea can be really hot and humid in the summer, so at some point it's going to turn maybe a bit too hot. So we'll see when we get there.
Do you get an idea when this is going to happen?
In Korea they have people always talk about the months of the year and the seasons, and there's four seasons, but in the actual traditional Korean calendar, they have a lot more seasons than that, and they change twice a month. And so the farmers will know. And now that I'm living in a farming village, I think I can tell based on what they're doing when it's time to turn on the air conditioner and stay inside.
Okay, and how do they know? It is related to the moon calendar or something like that?
Yeah, right. Well, it's related to the moon calendar, and so that tells them everything that they're supposed to do for their farming on the farming calendar. It's not so different from like our farmers almanac in the States that a lot of farmers use as well. So, when the frogs start chirping and the grasshoppers are hopping, then they're
Ye-
supposed to start putting things in the ground, and then they have all these different sayings about it. It's really interesting to live someplace like this now.
Yeah, but I think it is like a common knowledge. They have seen this so many times that they feel it. Kind of like they feel it more than they follow dates or things. It's just like they're feeling what's going on.
I think it used to be common knowledge. I think that's one of the things that we kind of are missing a lot of this connection to the natural world these days. A lot of people don't know these things anymore and they don't necessarily pay attention to them because they don't realize that what the frogs are talking about, what the grasshoppers are telling us, and those kind of things. That's why I'm so happy to be in a place where I can sort of see that because I think nature and listening to nature is so important. So it is yeah, it's something that I think a lot of people, I mean, I didn't grow up knowing too much about farming, but living here, I can see how the citrus orchards are being taken care of and how all the barley is being planted and, when it's being harvested and all that kind of stuff. And when you can really see it, then I think you can learn a lot from it.
Of course, of course. Yeah, 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 yeah. I associate this like the knowledge of the grannies. It's it's like when is the time to do your haircut and things like that, and they just know, and
Yeah.
it's incredible. But
Yeah.
well, now let's go to get you here, because I think the people of Juice and Judah, of our audience, would like to know more about you, and they already know about your blog, but um, a little bit more about you and how did you ended up moving to Jeju, how the Soul of Soul has ended up moving to Jeju. Are you becoming the Soul of Jeju?
Yeah, yeah, I've gotten that question before, Gabby. You're not the first one.
Oh,
Yeah, so I mean, originally I'm from the US and I moved to Seoul, South Korea in 2006. So almost 2 decades I've been in Korea. I started the Soul of Seoul maybe oh, maybe 15 or 16 years ago. And when I started it, it was really just to share information with my family back home. I moved to Korea so long ago. We didn't have smartphones with cameras and stuff yet. We had to use calling cards, and calling cards only had 1 hour limits. And so, in order to share things with my family and pictures and tell them what I was talking about, I started a blog so that they could see what was happening. And I really was mostly sharing it with them, and I made myself more, it made me want to travel and see more so I could share more with them. And eventually I realized that other people were reading it and finding it helpful. And yeah, so it started to expand. Lived in Seoul for the vast majority of my time in Korea, but we moved to Jeju in October of last year. Jeju is the southernmost island of Korea. And it's been really great. We came here because of a school that we wanted our daughter to go to. And yeah, we're not going to become the soul of Jeju. The, the soul of Seoul now is all encompassing. It's Korea. It has a lot of Korea content on there. And I go up back and forth between Seoul and Jeju enough, so it's okay.
Well, who knows? But because you are a soul person, maybe you become a little bit the ambassador of the place where you are, you know? So that could be a possibility. And tell me something, Hallie. If
Mm.
Jeju were a person, how would you describe her?
Well, I was thinking about this because in Korea, they talk a lot about Jeju being well known for three things: women and rocks and wind. And all of them, though, come together in my mind as this old, wise woman who she is the one that listens to nature and she follows those winds so that she knows what's going to happen. And she teaches us through silence. It's one of the things I noticed with my mother-in-law. She can be very silent, but I'm learning so much from her. And so I picture her when I picture a woman that would encompass Jeju because they are stoic, but they are strong and they don't have to cry, they don't have to smile, but they have so much to teach you at the same time.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, I think they are active listeners, you know? And that
Mhm.
is what they want to teach uh, to the younger generations, probably.
Mhm.
Mm, and tell me something. What was the most unexpected moment that changed you while living in Korea?
In all of Korea, my whole
Yes.
time here. I don't know. I think giving birth here was quite a different experience. I mean, I have only given birth once, so I can't compare it to giving birth at home in the States, but when you go through something that's so, so natural, so hard,
And
and then
so
you're
big,
doing it,
yeah.
yeah, and then you're doing it with like culture shock at the same time. I had women around me that didn't speak English, and I, in that moment, couldn't speak any Korean. I just,
Of course, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think, and actually in the moment, the doctor said to me, there was a bit of culture shock because the doctor said to me, I was making some noise, and she said, you have to stop making noise. And I was so flustered. I had been scolded by the doctor for making noise, and I didn't understand. And later I found out because she was saying, if you are making noise in your mouth, then your energy is in your mouth and you're not pushing down. And you want your energy to be down so that the baby can come out. And I was like, wow, that is not what you said.
Exactly.
But
That was the knowledge. Yeah, yeah.
yes, right. Yes. I mean, in Korea, they don't have Lamaze classes or anything. They will say, no, your body will know what it needs to do. And I was like in that moment thinking, yeah, my brain has no idea what it needs to do. So I don't know how my body is supposed to know.
No, but I
Um,
understand that. I understand you because it's like I think when you immigrate to another country, when you are in circumstances of anger, super angry, or
mm,
you feel in danger, yeah, or
yeah.
very fragile, your mother tongue overcomes. You know, it's like you just can't speak your language,
Yes.
and
Yes.
feel frightened a lot. Like, what do I do in this circumstance? Yeah.
I was thankful my husband was there, so he had to take over all translation. But he was also like looking at me, am I supposed to be here? And I was like, you will stay here.
Yeah, probably he was traumatized, but that is like, what am I doing here? Because it's um, like you are the one that is delivering the baby. What am I doing here? But yeah,
Yes, yes.
it's your support. It's your rock in that moment. Yeah, but I
Yes.
can imagine. Well, that's recognizable. And what role has silence or solitude played in your creativity lately? Because now that you mentioned this, the silent women in the islands, uh, probably your life had changed from being in Seoul, which is more noisy and fast and quick, and now you are in a more silent place, more into nature. And what is this playing in your creativity lately?
I mean, it's playing. I think silence is good for all of us. Something that I realized when we left Seoul was just how much noise there is without you realizing how much noise there is. You know, like at nighttime, you
Mm-hmm.
don't realize how noisy a city is because you're so used to it and it's night, so you feel like it's quiet, but it's not quiet. And you don't realize it's not quiet until you get out of it and you're like, no, this is silence. This is quiet. And it's so different to feel that. I've started doing the Jeju with which is this course that circles the entire island, and there are 21 courses that make it up, and each one is between 15 and 20 kilometers. And I have been doing them, and I'm by myself when I do them, and I am, going through a lot of silence and solitude with that. And I have found that it's really been very inspiring for me because it allows me to just take those moments and watch the waves or watch the sun setting or rising or whatever it is and just sort of think how grateful I am to be here, and in that gratitude think what else I want to accomplish, which I think is really, it's something that we need to do, is to look within ourselves to decide what we want to accomplish and how we can do that. But we need to give ourselves the grace and the silence to find that too sometimes.
Yeah, and we need to be slow, to take things slow in order to hear ourselves, because sometimes we
Absolutely.
silence ourselves, what wants to come from inside.
Yeah, or
And
everything else around us silences us. I mean, there's just so much noise these days. I was hearing about having all the things that message us on our phones and how you need to turn off notifications, and but even that is so hard to do because then you're like, well, what if I miss a call, or what if it's there's just constant noise, even if it
yes,
is silent. If you have a screen nearby, that in itself is noise because it could ding at any time, like
exactly.
you really have to be so thoughtful now to be like, I am going to take this time to really be silent.
Oh, that will gonna make a change on you. But it's, I think, for good. I mean, but I see you, for example, the way I see you. But I imagine also like you are there with your big eyes wondering like, oh, look at this, look at the fish, look at the wind, look at the flower, and such in a like wondering, and it's like Alice in Wonderland, seeing all these beautiful things that sometimes is not that easy to see in a city. And
All right.
which takes me to my next question. In one sentence, how would you describe the soul of Seoul and the soul of Jeju?
Mm. Yeah, well, and that does, I do agree that in those solitude moments where I'm looking at flowers, I suddenly realize all the things about Korea that I want to share with other people that haven't come here yet and make sure that they know. Because I do love Seoul. Seoul is it's a neon heartbeat. It is fast, it's loud, it's alive. Jeju, on the other hand, is that breath of fresh air. It's very calm. although it can be wild and sacred at the same time.
Okay, okay. And I guess that it's like um, Jeju is more open, I mean, because it's an island, and then there are these winds, storms that transform the moment when it comes. And also the people of Jeju probably is totally different than the people of Seoul, which also is
They are totally different. I love the people of Jeju. I think in Seoul there's just so many millions of people living on top of each other that everyone can get kind of caught up in this what they call Bali Bali life. It's very fast paced
yes,
all the time. You have to quickly go someplace, you have to quickly turn in something, you have to quickly do everything. Whereas Jeju, it's no one is going anywhere fast.
it's like
It is always very
hello,
slow.
yeah, calm down. You
Yes,
don't need that.
exactly.
But that's why they call it Happy Island. I mean, I think all islands in general, they have this like, hello, you are from the city, calm down, calm.
Yes, yes.
And it gives you, yeah, like, it makes you realize how much you spend energy running from here to there, running, and it takes over you sometimes. Uh,
Mm. Mhm.
but well, is there a Korean word or concept that shifted your perspective in life, do you think? When you went in Korea, and there is this so many different than American life, than Western life, that when you found that concept or had an encounter with that concept, you thought, okay, it's changing me.
Mm. I mean, I think a lot of people here, when they live in Korea for any amount of time and they learn the word jung from Koreans, and it's a word that they'll tell you is really hard to translate. It's an attachment that you create or is created between two people. It's like how people get binded together in a certain place in a certain time. And that attachment, once Koreans have that with you, it is forever. And I don't know, I love the idea of that. A lot of Koreans will say that foreigners, we don't have that jung. But I often remind Koreans how much jung I have to give. I
But
think
John is like loyalty. Would you say it's like a loyalty or friendship or a connection or
it's a deep connection, it is. And I think it's one of the reasons that Koreans, they start off conversations with new people by asking, it's like you're on one of those TV shows where they ask you 20 questions and it's just like question. And you're like, why are you doing this? And the reason they do that though is because they're trying to find that thing that they will connect with you on. And once they find that thing that they will connect with you on, then that becomes kind of the central point of your relationship and your connection. But it's so important to find that thing. And you might not find it immediately, but the sooner you do, the easier it is to then connect with someone
of
and
course, yeah.
have that long-term friendship. But yeah, my husband has friends that he's had since elementary school and they talk about their deep jung and I think, man, I think I have jung with a lot of people as well. A lot of my friends, but I don't think we call it that and I don't think we think about it in the same way. But when you live abroad, especially being foreigners abroad, we have to create our own families, like we don't
Exactly.
have family in this country. So my friends
Are your
have
family?
become my family. And those people I absolutely had jung with. And I know that I could call them at any time for anything and they would come if I needed them to. It's so, we have that. It's just a different, yeah, it's a different way of thinking about it or describing it, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a special bond. I understand you because it's the same. I mean, I live today. It's becoming my anniversary, 25 years living in the Netherlands. And
Wow.
wow, it's like first I just think like, huh? 25 years? How it went so fast?
They go by so fast. Yeah.
Exactly. And then also like um what is my family? Because my family all lives abroad. And it's like my family are the friends that I have built in here that really had become my family. It's not that my family is not my family, but our bond
Mhm.
is like unshakable. It's like
Yes.
at 3 o'clock, I have this problem and I need you at 3 a.m. in the morning, and there you are.
Hmm.
It's like I call these like 4x4 friendships, like 4x4 cars, like they go all kind of, you go by sand, by water, by air almost. Um, but yeah, that is beautiful concept, but it calls also my attention because Asian culture in general is more focused on connections, on observing. I think it has a deeper way of seeing things that most of Western culture do. And maybe Western people discovered that when they go to live somewhere else, when they change their regular environment.
Hmm. That could be. You learn so much anyway, no matter as long as you move, I think. I think that's one of the things I tell younger people that are graduating from college. I mean, if you can leave your country and live abroad for a year, do it just because it just opens your mind to so many other perspectives. And like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's not like saying, because I think a lot of people, you grow up one place, it's easy to start thinking this is right, that is wrong. But you go
Yeah,
someplace else and you realize it's not right and wrong. It's this way you can do it or this way you can do it. Like it's just two
exactly.
different ways to do something.
It
And
expands your vision. Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets you out of your comfort zone and your mini universe. That is the maybe your town, your university, your friends, your city, where you got to know everything and know how everything is. Then you have to behave completely different. Maybe this doesn't work where you move. And then
Hmm.
you have to, it helps you to evolve as a person, I think personally, and to have a broader view of things in life. But it's really important.
Hmm. Yeah, it is.
And what has it meant for you to become a mother in a country far from where you grew up? Or you have your daughter close also to your American culture?
Yeah. Well, it's not, I guess my perception or perspective of how I was going to be a mom is not necessarily the same as, what has transpired because I am in a different country. I'm extremely close to my family in the States, and I made a deal with my husband before I got married. I said I could stay in Korea forever as long as I can go back home for every year for a month or something. I have to be able to go home, but I can stay in Korea if I'm able to do that. And with our daughter, that has become even more important, a very important ritual in our family, but also just allows her to see both sides of her personality. I mean, I like to say she's a very American Korean,
Hmm.
which might sound odd, but because I have, such a big role in her life, as all mothers do,
Hmm.
she has learned a lot of the, Western perspective on things like being able to say no if you don't want to do something and not having to go with the collective, which in Korea, the collective, especially when you're a kid, is very strong. But even as an adult, it's very strong. So some of it's good, some of it's bad, I guess. I told my husband, you need to you need to teach her maybe not to do it so that Koreans think she's rude, but you know,
Yeah.
I think it's good, but it is different than what people might expect because you learn so much. And I mean, I like having a child. Ever since Ava, I took her to, parks and things and see the way she sees things. She has made me slow down so much just because that's what kids do. They move a lot slower. They see something that's new and they want to stop and they want to touch it and then poke it and do everything else with it. And I'm like, at first it was kind of hard. And I was like, no, we're trying to go, go, go. We live in Seoul. We're going, going, going. But it's been good to have a child that wants to slow down and look at things closer. And, then it makes me want to look at things closer in a different perspective. And yeah, it's good that way.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I see that she goes with you a lot and is an explorer like you. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so that is
I get I get asked a lot for family, what things are family friendly? And it's so funny because I say, I mean, if I have posted about it, she was with me. So you can assume that everything I posted about is family friendly. I mean, unless it was a bar, then she was with me. If it was a bar, then I was probably having a mommy night out, you know?
No, but it's like in your daily adventures, and I think that is a great thing that you have the opportunity to to share with her these things. You know, normally in Western culture, kids go to school and parents go to work in a different environment. You are lucky that you work in, you do this kind of work that you do, and
Yeah,
then you have time to dedicate to her and to teach her first view, you know, first
yeah.
experience, first hand, like uh, to have an approach in life. And probably you're going to have in her life, you know, a big presence, because she shared with you zillion things that maybe other kids don't have the opportunity to share with their parents. So that's beautiful.
Mm, absolutely. I will say for anyone that doesn't know our background, I am a writer, and so I do get to stay home now. When I first came to Korea, I was a teacher, but I pivoted into writing and have made a good career out of it. So I'm very lucky that that happened. And my husband is a musician, so he also gets to work in his pajamas behind me in the same room. Um, so we are very lucky that we are successful creators in what we do and can do it from home so that we yeah, can be with our daughter as much as we can.
Yeah, and that is a beautiful experience for your daughter too, for sure. It's a lucky daughter.
Yes. Well, let's tell her that when she's a bit older and she goes through that teenage strife.
Yeah. Uh, well, and tell me something, Holly. What sounds, scents, or flavors make you feel at home no matter where you
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I'm still very American, so peanut butter. Oh my gosh.
are?
I so many years ago, I when I first started traveling, there was this thing about how Americans all travel with peanut butter, Japanese tourists travel with wasabi, Korean tourists will travel with ramen. Like we all have a thing that we put into our bag, a just in case food that we're like, just in case I've had enough of whatever the local cuisine is, which I'm sure is great. I want to be able to have something that my body and belly recognize, and peanut butter is that no matter where I go, I just need a jar of peanut butter. And it's not even like I eat it every day, but it is for those moments where I'm
Exactly.
like, I just want something from my childhood that I ate at elementary school all the time, you know?
Okay, and is it easy to find peanut butter in Jeju?
It's in Korea in general, it's gotten easier. The very first year I came here, I was flummoxed because there was one bottle, one brand, and it wasn't the one that I grew up eating. But now, yeah, there's a lot more options on the shelves, thankfully.
Oh, okay, so then you got even in Jeju you can find your peanut butter. Otherwise, you order it, or it comes online, or when family sends a package or something like
That's right. I have to ship it in.
that. Well, like in America, I remember when I was studying in Chicago, the granny of my house flat was sending cake, and a
Well, yeah.
cake for all of us, like carrot cake, and with your name on it. This piece is for Gabby, this piece for Craig, this piece is for Mary. So it was like, it was really funny.
Yeah. Nice of them to send cake though.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But and we were always expecting the boxes, like when is a packaging coming? And well, now I see that the time is flying. We have to go. We have to continue asking questions to get to know more about you. And this is a funny question, I think. If your
Mm.
voice had a shape or texture today, what would it be?
Well, I hope it would be soft and not, rough edges around, but it's very solid, I think. I think I've grown into my voice. I think confident, it sounds confident, so therefore solid, soft around the edges, I think.
Yeah, I think it is also. But it's because you are being yourself, and that is the most important thing. Like
Mm.
people when they're expressed, they what you are saying, it's like going through life abroad, it helps you to listen to your inner side, and then to find more where you feel comfortable and more yourself, and then you express from that point of view, and that is important.
It is important. I agree.
Yeah. And how has writing and being read changed your sense of identity, Hallie?
I don't know if I've changed. It has changed my sense of identity. Although, I mean, when I'm walking on the streets of Seoul, people will yell out "the Soul of Seoul," and I know they're talking to me. So I guess I have another name that is now attached to me. I know that they're talking to me when they say that. Uh, but I mean, I think that the reason I started, writing was to inspire myself to keep seeing more of Korea, and it's made me so happy to realize how much of my writing has inspired others to see so much more of Korea. Um, I think that's just it inspires me continuously when people message me and tell me that they're thankful I shared something. It just makes me want to share more because there is still so much more of Korea that is just not translated and just not shared enough. And I mean, just this morning I was talking about playing the gayagum, and this is super traditional Korean instrument that tourists don't know much about. They don't come here searching for the gayagum, but it's something that is such a unique experience to play an instrument that has history dating back to the 6th century in Korea. It's just things like that that I'm like, okay, there's still so much to share, and I want to. So it's okay if I've become the soul of soul.
Yeah, you had become really, I mean, it's interesting because, well, that's how I invited you here, because I get to know you through the Soul of Soul. And I just thought, wow, I mean, there are a lot of touristic blogs or invitations or social media or communication, but I just think it's just superficial, not
Yeah.
really communicating the spirit of a place. And I think that is the most important thing. It's not just come here to see this or see that on a very superficial point of view, or commercial mainly, but it's just like come discover Korea and really what is the hidden gems of Korea or something like that. It's and I think you're very good doing that. It's like you are very good at sharing your views and discovering new things and making it visible, but also with your own twist to things.
I appreciate that. I think I tell people coming here the you shouldn't come here with any premonitions or ideas that you think you know Korea, because that's the biggest mistake you can make. If you watch a Korean drama and you think that that is Korea and that is true and you come here, I think it's best to come here without that and just be open to the experience, and then you really will learn so much more deeply about Korean culture and heritage. And I mean, I've married into the culture. So for me, it's very important. I've always wanted to be respectful of the traditions. And my family is, they still do old traditions, Jason, ancestral traditions and things. And I think that's so important to hold on to and pass down. So in our family, we do all the American traditions and all the Korean traditions. And it's just, it's so important to do those things and respect both of those, and I hope that I do that successfully. That's always a goal too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, and that you also, how do you to manage to do both things? Hopefully they do not overlap one with the other, like Christmas or things like that, or but it is beautiful because it's like the pillars of the identity, I think, in general.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and marrying someone who's from Korea, and then raising a child who is American and Korean, it's always been really important for us to make sure that we provide both of those perspectives and identities so that our daughter can, she can understand and be ready for anything that comes at her from either side of our families.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, well, it's growing like really what I said, as a very lucky girl that she can have both perspectives since she's very little. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Hallie, what would you say to someone standing at the edge of a big life leap?
I mean, I've done a lot of big life leaps, I think. If you are fearful, just jump. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. And don't regret the decisions that you make because you can always make a left turn or a right turn when you land somewhere else. Like I think those big life leaps can lead you to so many places, but don't regret them. Like just take them and then decide what's next.
Yeah, I see life leaps like thresholds, you know? It's like
Mhm.
portals, like, oh, opportunity. Maybe it's
Yes.
scary, but it's an opportunity. And when you see the magic of life, life is full of opportunities. What you are living now is because you took all that and you were not fearful. Yeah, beautiful. And Hallie, what's giving your soul vitamin C these days? You know, we are about vitamin C.
I am surrounded by vitamin C because we live in citrus orchards of Jeju. So we get, when you are on the Jeju Olekil and you're trekking by yourself, one of the big things in Jeju, what happens is locals will see you trekking and they will give you an orange while you're on the route. And it's so, I don't know, it's just so welcoming, but so friendly and so consistent. Every single route I've been on, someone hands me an orange at some point. I think the whole trek for me this past 6 months I've been doing it has just been the whole vitamin C, not just the orange on the trek, but the trek itself is the vitamin C that I've been really needing right now and is, I don't know, helping me open up and create more.
That's nice. That's nice. And wow. So I didn't know that there is someone getting or giving oranges every time you are on the trail. This is something definitely people has to try.
Yes, they should. Yes.
So maybe you should organize visits to Jeju.
I know. I think I need to. I used to do tours in Seoul, and now there's so many tours in Seoul. But yeah, Jeju is still untouched in a lot of ways. People go to some of the major highlights like they do in Seoul as well, but I think there are so many untouched areas of Jeju that tourists miss every time. So now it's time for me to start uncovering those for people.
Yeah. Well, Holly, we have only 1 minute. Time just flew.
It's always a good conversation with you, Gabby.
Yeah. Well, we will continue that when you are here in the Netherlands.
Absolutely.
I will take you to the forest to discover new things.
I can't wait for that.
Okay? Well, I think this is already finishing. And but thank you for your time and for all these interesting answers that you are sharing with the people of Yuzu and Yuja. And we will meet each other soon.
Yes, in person.
Yes, again. Okay?
Thank you for having me.
Okay, you're welcome. Well, we still have less than a minute, but I